Okay, hello. Here I want to create a WordPress plugin to make a normal chatbot. There are plenty of options now already in the WordPress plugins store, but I want to make my own and maybe put it there for free. I don't know, I want to experience to see how I can vibe code it. So I want to do this project with Claude desktop and one MCP that's called desktop commander. This MCP is very useful because it can run any kind of command line options, and it's very useful here for me. And also there is another MCP that I made myself that it use Aider. Aider is a command line tool that we can code with it, so I can put any kind of model behind it to code. For that I put Gemini 2.5 Pro, so I can code with Gemini 2.5 Pro. So why I'm doing that I will show you later in the process. But yeah, this is what the things I'm gonna use now. And another things probably I need in this project is context 7, which is a good MCP for context 7. I can show you it's a good MCP for getting the latest documents like WordPress plugin. Probably I can, yeah, there is a lot of things for WordPress plugin here. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And probably maybe this MCP that it helps me to give this the ability to the Claude desktop to open the browser and then check what is happening there, take a screenshot and analyze it, which is very useful. But before starting everything, I usually start with chatting with Claude desktop. This is the part that I like a lot, and I want to enable also extended thinking. For now I'm using Claude Max, so I have a lot of good limits. I can do this stuff. One of the things that I don't like in compare of Cloud Code, and I prefer Claude Desktop, maybe it's this UI, the interface. I can ask Claude Desktop to create some artifacts, so it can create some mermaid file, MD files, and it's showing me very well before I start coding. And I will show you a bit. But before start doing anything, I usually, one thing I do, I create a project for it. Like here, I come here, I press new project. Now I create a WordPress AI ChatBot plugin. This way I just keep all the chats in, let me maybe, okay, make it bigger. All the communication, all the chats in one project, so it's not a mess like here. Also, what I can do and what I usually do, I put some instructions. For example, one of the things that I usually do is that workspace, I define the workspace for it with giving it absolute path. I'm using it in the MacBook, so if you see it's like this. And yeah, I create a folder here, AI apps, WordPress plugin. I didn't create any folder for it. Yeah, let's create a folder, WordPress AI ChatBot plugin. ChatBot plugin. I like this one. Okay. I mean, one thing that I can be sure, I can right click, press option, and yeah, copy the link like this. It's more accurate. Okay, now I just put this. I'm not putting any more instruction. You can put any kind of rules here, but for now I don't want to put anything here. You can add also any kind of knowledge to the project here, which is good, but for now I want to do anything from scratch. So let's start. I wanted to talk with it before we start anything. I don't have much knowledge about creating WordPress plugins. Could you give me some guide? Maybe you can also use context 7 MCP to get some documents. Let's see what it does. Okay, you see now it wants to call the context 7 MCP. I will let it do what it wants. Yes, it's getting some docs. Okay, for now I'm not reading it, I'm just waiting for it to see what it does. Okay, could you save all the information about making WordPress plugin in a folder called docs as MD file. So usually one thing that I like to do is to create a doc folder, and as we can see it automatically created, and I want to keep all the documents related necessary in that documentation folder. As you see, it's creating some MD file, putting everything it needed there. System hooks, getting started, everything, which is useful because later I have all the knowledge I need. It's necessary. I don't need to ask the MCP again to go and fetch the knowledge. And the thing is, every time we create a new chat, the context window is empty. So it's always good to have somehow some reference to what we were doing and what we need and what documents we need before asking new stuff to do. So we need to wait a bit. As you can see, for now I'm not opening any kind of IDE. I'm just trusting this. I forgot to turn on extended thinking, but it's okay for now. I'm gonna need it a bit later. So on the file. And we wait. Okay, maybe I can prepare the next prompt that I want to give to it before. Oh, it's already finished actually. Or no, okay. Hit the max length. Okay, continue. Hmm. So one of the things that, for example, why I'm using that either things, why I made this MCP, is because the context window here is getting full very fast, and after a few kind of prompts, it's already full, and or you need to create a new chat and you will reach the limit much faster. So with that thing I made, um, um, trying to, okay, this is all for my, so what it does actually, it's like we have cloudy desktop that it can delegate the tasks to Ada, which is using Gemini 2.5 Pro. And why it's doing this, actually this is how Ada MCP here that's handling this process. So what is happening is that Cloudy Desktop is our architecture, is doing on the architect, and it's kind of moderator also, or orchestrator, moderator. Then every time it wants to code, it asks either MCP to code, and then it's asking the either to code. But one thing that makes it more interesting, one of the things I said, it's that it doesn't need to write the code itself. You see, it's a huge line of code, and it's filling the filling our limit very fast. Okay, and our context windows will fill very fast. And also there is another thing that read and write in context windows has a different price. So usually read is much cheaper and write is much more expensive, which means we get to the limit much faster when we write. So when it writes itself, it gets to the limit much faster. So with this, what we do is like we are trying to give the right thing to some other models. Like here I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro because I think this is the best combination. But if it's more expensive for you, you can like use cheaper models for this part. And usually sometimes I'm asking when the Cloudy finished the stuff, like when the either finished writing code, I'm asking Claude to check the code again. So what will happen? It open that code and it read it and fill it with inside the context window. But what's happened now? We are reading. We are adding the read to it, which is cheaper. So we get to the limit much kind of we have more longer limit. Okay, and here's still creating files, but for now, because I don't want to code, I just want to plan. I'm using the Claude itself. Okay. It should be finished already. Another cool stuff about this Aider MCP that I haven't seen it somewhere yet is that it has this feature to run multiple Aider at the same time, which means the time we are waiting for finishing a code like this, you see we are waiting for AI to finish our code. When we use this Aider MCP, now we can delegate it to work as simultaneously. So for example, I can ask it to run 4 tasks as parallel. But one thing that is important, that because they are working in parallel, so these files have no knowledge about each other. So this architecture is doing very important job in this situation, which needs to design the tasks the way that this task has no dependency to each other. Imagine like in a big company, that 100% working at the same time in one project. How it's working? It's working because they are working in modular based project. So each one works in their own module, and or each one works in separate parts. Usually they don't have much conflict with each other. This is what is happening here. It should be aware of the changes, or we need to develop in modular base, and then we are able to make it work. We are able to code it in parallel. So one thing that I usually ask is this. I made some prompt for it, which I'm asking, okay, before doing everything, use the context 7 MCP to get the documents and then save it in docs, what we did now. But then I'm asking it to create tasks in a small task and in parallel. This is important. And another thing is create a README file about what you want to do and create tasks, and then I'm telling it to use this code with multiple AI, which is that tools that I told you. This is that MCP I created, and this tool let it to create multiple tasks at the same time. Also, I'm telling it to create tasks branches, which means to create them in parallels. Each branch has no dependency to the other branch, then so they can work in parallel. Step by step and create sprint. This is the new thing that I started to ask, is like in work, like a real work, I'm asking it to create a sprints. Don't create all the project at once. Create a sprint one, and kind of create first feature in a sprint one with that it's working, but it's not our final product. Then go to sprint 2, create something on top of that and improve that functionality. Then sprint 3, it's more and more, and at the end we have an app that is working fully functional, but we are going sprint by sprint. This also helps when our context limit is full and we have a proper task and progress. We can just ask it again in a new context limit, check the documents, check the tasks, and continue sprints, you know. So I want to use this But before that, I still want to continue chatting with Claude Desktop. I want to create AI chatbot for WordPress as plugin, and I need to show the chat with the short code. The user can have access to their previous chat. Also, I want to have a simple dashboard that I can set up the AI API key and the prompt can be rated. Also, I want to have access to all chats from the dashboard to be able to see the chats or even interact with them. Okay, this is what I want. I wanted this chatbot to be able to I want a chatbot so I can use a shortcut to show it in the screen, and everyone, every user that log in the doesn't need to log in, open the website, they can see the chatbot and they can communicate, and if they close it and they open it again, they still have like from cookie, they still have the idea of that chat maybe, and then they can see the history of the chat. So this means that chat needs to save in the database, and also I want to be able to see the chats in the dashboard, because there are some plugins already I was working, and it was or hard or it was impossible to see the chat history with everyone. So I want to be able to see the chats. I want to be able even to interact, like to put a message from the admin panel inside and to answer the user myself. So this is all I want now. I don't want to make it fancy, specific features, voice to text, maybe later, but for now I want it simple. I want you to help me prepare some project structure for it. And make a PRD, project requirement documentation, and then but don't code for now. Let's first prepare this document. Also use artifacts to show me some diagrams. And this is very useful. This is what I love it. And one thing that it's very helpful, before start, ask me 5 questions to make it more clear about my requirements. This is very important. When you ask the AI to ask you a question, some questions, usually it's happened that it's not improvising itself, it's improvising less. So if it has any doubt, it asks you questions, you know. So it's not doing it by saying, it's not assuming stuff. Let's see. Okay, it's start to ask questions. Okay, for now, I just want OpenAI, but I want to mm, okay, this is important. This is kind of also designing the app. I want to use some design patterns to use interfaces. So when it's implementing, it knows it's more possible to grow the system. So like for now, we want OpenAI, but we want a proper interface. So we can easily just create another class for Anthropic, for Google Gemini, and just with implementing that, now we have the new features. These are the software development stuff that software engineers using in usual coding. Cookies are enough for now. Keep it simple. Just say okay. Simple. Just a chat box window. Yeah. Chat box window. That is inside the page. For this version, we just want to see list of chats. Also to click on menu item view to be able to see all the chat and add more text as admin. AI users and okay, let's see. Okay, now it's a start to create these empty files, these artifacts. That I love it. Um, you see, like this one. Shortcode, chat controller, chat model. Are we hitting the limit? So these are all the files it wants to generate for admin, for public API language. This is nice. Okay, what is happening? There is also one thing that anything you see in the UI of desktop, Cloudy Desktop is kind of behind the reality. So here it might stop here, it might not showing anything, but it actually is doing it and it's finishing it. Or sometimes like you see it's like saying I'm creating this file and it's showing you that it's writing the first line, but when you go and check the code you see that file is already finished. So the UI is kind of behind, is having some lags on. So when also you stop it, it's not stopping immediately. That's because it kind of stops immediately, but you don't see it on the UI. So and the UI is still trying to catch up. Okay, I don't like it. But I am assuming it's working. Okay, I don't like it. It's waiting for so long. Maybe can stop it. Yeah, it's kind of stuck here. Continue. Okay, for some reason stopped, but yeah, I just stopped it and now it's continuing. These are amazing. Like if you want to have a better result, it's good to review all of this. And this is interesting. Yeah, and refine it. Sometimes you see something that you think is better. You see this, this artifact, it can generate UI for you. And this is a UI, it's working because it's using React. The Cloudy Desktop itself, it's a React application. So, it's able to create some React modules and show it to you. And this is the React that it's working. It's creating some mock-up. You see, this is the admin dashboard. This is how it will look like. This is the chat interface. It's amazing. Now, the chat detail. Wow, reply as admin. This is just wow. I love it. These things makes the Cloudy Desktop super unique. Okay, save all these. Mate in project. Okay, I want to have them. I don't want to lose them, so I'm going to ask to save them all. Maybe it's not a good idea to do it like this because it needs to create all of them again. But anyway, for now I'm using Mac, so I still didn't get to the limit. So yeah, now it's going faster. So you see here, this write files, create directory, these are all the features of that desktop commander. This is amazing plugin, desktop commander, that it's easy to set up, especially in Cloudy Desktop. You can just add this to the configs and it's done. And it's amazing. I love it. It makes it possible that to code, to create files, to read the directory, and create directory, read the files. Yeah, it's adding a lot of functionality to Cloudy Desktop. And one of the good thing about Cloudy the Desktop Commander is that it's able to run the commands without blocking the process. Like for example, if you open a terminal and ask something like npm run, and you want to run your backend, it's a start to block the process there, so, or you have to stop the backend to see what happened, or you're blocked there. A lot of these AI tools like Cursor, even the Cloud Code, they stop there when you ask to run the app and see the result. They cannot continue the process because the server is running. It has no response. This is not the correct way to check it. But even like in Cursor, if you want to run some commands, if you want to do something with command line, I highly suggest to use this desktop commander, because What it does, it create a process, it gives you the process ID, and it's telling you that, okay, I did it, go and come back later, you know, for the response, and it's not blocking us there, and it tells the AI to come back and ask me later, and then AI, after some seconds, it come back again. It has that process ID, and it asks, okay, what was the result of this process? And it's just giving the result. And if you run the server, and it has some logs, it gives you the logs of it. It's without stopping the server, and it makes it possible for this to work with it. Okay, now that we have everything here, now we have ChatBot plugin, document, planning. Amazing. Okay, now I want to give my own, where it was, own prompt. On prompt. First, think deep and plan the project. This think deep is some keyword that is very useful for Claude Code. Here, because I enabled already the extended thinking, I don't think if I need it, but it's okay. I push it more to thinking more deep. Parallel and small tasks. Now I wanted to create a small task, multiple tasks, to be able to run it simultaneously. And I want tasks to be small. I want tasks to have some kind of interface, and I asked it to use that to run them simultaneously. I explained it how, and yeah, we should be good here. Now I want to run it to see what will happen. I will also show you how you can have this prompt if you're interested. .com. It's already in my MCP. I put it here. I guess I even put it somewhere here. Yeah, but either MCP. Yeah, this is the planning that I'm using here. I can share the link also. Okay, let's see what will happen now. Now this is the most important part. Okay, it decided to plan in parallel, create a readme task, using code with multiple AI tool. Okay, I need to enable all functions. Oh, it's too late. It's not working, but anyway, it has access to other MCP. It can use it. Still, we are not coding. I don't know how long it passes. Still, I'm not coding, because if you just start coding without giving it context, you're not getting good results. But this is the best to prepare with it, talk with it, and this is one thing that you feel better doing it with Claude Desktop, because this UI, this interface is made for chatting. I mean, yesterday I was trying to also do everything here, but when it comes to the coding, just coding, I was switching to Claude Code and then saying, okay, now look at the task that is remained, look at the project, read the documents that is made, and now start fire it and do the code. And it was just coding. Yeah, for coding part, maybe this is not the best, I don't know, but for preparation, this is amazing. Even if you want to use some cursor or any other tools, I would suggest you to prepare everything like this first. Then when your task is prepared, then you can start started. You see that this is the thing that this is my own idea. It made the 4 branches. I told it to use just not more than 4 parallel tasks. And each branches are different, have first task, and they are each one related to something else. One of them is about the AI providing integration, one of them is core functionality, data, front end. And here, code with multiple AI. If you see, it's creating 4 different prompts. This is the first prompt. This is the second prompt. This is third, and this is the fourth. And for all of them, okay, it's providing the working directory, and then for each of them, it's telling you to which file you have to work on. And this is done. When it's finished, it's done. And it's finished. Now it's reading them all, reading the files, double checking them. Good. Now fire the second prompt. Again, you see the task CI, core infrastructure, data management 2. I'm suspicious about why it's actually 1. Maybe there was some issue in that, so it decided to run the first task again, or still it's the first task. You see here, it's just reading. It's not coding. It's not filling. It's on context windows. It's writing. It's delegating the task to the Gemini 2.5, and Gemini 2.5 is amazing with coding. I had very good result with it. Like I made this Flappy Bird game. Always having an issue. It is also in my GitHub, but let me find the link. Yeah, this. Oh, this Flappy Girl. I made it with same way, like Claude was coding, and yeah, it even has a sound, and it's a bit creepy. I intentionally made it. And yeah, this is amazing, no? And it's functioning, fully functioning. You can even play it on the mobile phone if you like. You can play and give me your result. Okay, let's go back. Let's see what is happening here. You're already getting to task 5, task 2, task 4. Okay, this is one important thing that oh, what happened? I suggest you sometimes it still this plugin MCP is not working the best. Sometimes it has some issues. As you saw, it was showing some error. If you can also create a PR if you found the bugs, and would be awesome. But it's actually doing the stuff, so it's not that it's not kind of blocking us. We can read the file again and continue. Continue implementation. We had some tasks are gain and see need to be changed. To provide code one of the things that Aider has is like you can provide it some before you code you can and like what I did here, you can provide it some information, or you can give it some read-only files to say, okay, these are the files you better to read first, you fill the context, then you start to ask, then you start to code. And this MCP has this feature also. As you can see, it has it just introduced editable files to each task, which is okay, but it has this ability to giving it more context. It has read-only files. You see, read-only files, which we can give it a list of files, and then when Aider is trying to code, it first read everything. It's better for each one of us our task to have also knowledge about all project, to code better. And yeah, let's go back. Okay, now it's using the code with AI tool, which is just one by one, running one by one. Okay, now it's trying to refactor some stuff. See, even it's using the desktop commander to move the files. This is amazing. It's just Claude is amazing for doing this stuff. Other models are not that much reliable. See, I'm updating the name of the classes, and you can see it's already made a lot of classes. I have no idea. I'm a programmer. I'm mostly Java programmer, mobile, Android development, but I did development for 10 years, but since vibe coding, to be honest, I'm not going deep in the code itself. I prefer to just try to see how can I get the best from AI. Then when I get more used to it, how it works, how much I work more with it, how much I get to know it more, it's like Google search. Like at the beginning, it was very hard for me to search for what I want. I didn't know how to search. The prompting is also same. After you practice more and more, you get to know how it's better to write codes, how it's better to prompt it, how it's better to, what you can expect from it. And I'm getting better at it. Okay, so here it decided to write some codes itself, which is not my favorite thing. Sprint won't finish. And it created a summary. Now I feel it's getting a bit slow, so I want to create a new context window for it, but could you create some instruction so we can continue? Chat, give a good Okay, now I wanted to create some prompt for me to continue it, you know, because now I want to continue and I don't want to think, okay, how should I now explain it again? How should I fill the context window again? And now I ask it to create some files for it, but what is it actually doing? Okay, okay. Now I want to copy it. Now I want to go back here and create a new chat. Enable extended thinking. Let me read it again. Yeah, looks okay. Let's fire it. Boom. Okay. Okay, I still needed to give it some direction, but not that detail. Let's see. So now let's start again to read the codes, because we don't have any context aware system here like what argument code has. So I have to tell it again to read those documentations that we made. But here, because we also still feeling this we are just reading the files, and our project is not so big. It's okay, we are not feeling that context windows so much. But when your project is bigger, maybe you have to think about working on modules and just don't provide all the project to it. Just provide some specific modules of it. Okay, it's read it very fast, faster than I expected. I hope everything is okay. And it started to create a task for it actually. And here you see now it's provided read-only files, which is amazing. This is the thing I love. You see, like for the first task, this is the one thing for the first task. It gives it interface AI provider, class chat PHP, class message. It's just for the first task. Create open AI provider. So because we told them to told it to create the interface first. So in the sprint one, it just created this the interface. But now it's creating the implementation. You see, class OpenAI provider. So we made the interface of provider. Now we have the implementation of the provider and other stuff that it's doing at the same time. It's finished. Now it's running 4 more tasks, working on 4 more files at the same time. This is amazing. I am trying to keep it not so much more than 4 because some limitation also how many. You see, I got some errors. Probably it's because of some limitation. I don't know. For now, I don't want to go and check these errors. But sometimes we have these limitations of how many requests per minute you are giving to the AI. So maybe one of the good ideas is to have like 4 different accounts, 4 different keys, and then tell the AI to work for different accounts, so we are not waiting for each one of them. Usually when we are getting an error, it's stuck there. One thing that I think I need to add to this MCP is to somehow to refine the responses, because it seems in the response we have some elements that it's just destroying the JSON file that it's expected. This is all the communication. Okay, I want to stop it and continue again. Okay, I want to first read what we did, what was the implementation, to not duplicate or change something, because we are not sure if this everything was okay here or there was some issue, some error. So I'm just running it again, but I'm saying, okay, read it, the files that you wrote, and then start to continue. I mean, maybe because I made this MCP myself and I like this idea of multi-threading. Maybe it's not a good idea, maybe, but I want to do it in this video. I want to implement it with this. And I think it's cool. If I know the MCP has some issues, it's still sometimes returning errors, but it's amazing. This idea is amazing, because the thing is, one thing that wastes our time coding with AI is that we need to wait for it, so it writes word by word for us. Okay, this is taking time. It's not we cannot improve it with increasing our like CPU or something, but we can program it at the same time in the multiple thread. And we got the timeout again. Oh, the thing is, that timeout wasn't for this task. I assume it was for this task, because this one passed, but not this one yet. I told you that things we see here, it's actually a bit laggy. We are a lot behind at what is actually happening. One thing that I'd like to know about the project is how many sprints it made. Here, chat asks sprint 2, sprint 3. Okay, we have 3 sprints. Yeah, this is, maybe we are hitting some limitation in running the codes. Also in the response. Okay. I want to do some changes in my code, my MCP. Yeah, I need to remove some of these responses. So many responses we have. And these are making problem here. I'm constantly updating this. And actually I added another feature to queue the message, so similar to what the desktop commander did. So the AI send the message, it's not getting the response immediately, it's going and then coming back for the response. So we are not hitting the timeout like this. But I never tried it yet. The thing is, I'm also developing this ADR MCP using vibe coding. So is this speed up? Yeah, we are providing so many unnecessary information. Speed up. I was using it for testing to see how much actually it's useful. I don't need it. You see, this is like saying you code 2.5 time faster than coding normally one by one, but really, I don't need it. Where is this prompt? Maybe you're repeating prompts again. Yeah, we have the prompt. Why do we have it here? Really? Okay, let's back to our code. It's still working. Great. Successfully implemented the Spring 2. Nice. Done. Now I want to use this. Wow, this chat was hard to implement. Okay, now we need a new. Okay, let's create, implement. Sprint 3. Wow. Okay, I don't like this. Wait. First. Okay, I don't want to. Oh. Okay. Okay. Now it's better. You see, now it's working much faster because now the context windows is much more empty. Okay, so the thing is, this is going like this. I'm not doing additional stuff. For now, I will pause the video because it's getting so long, and I'm going to maybe continue it in another video or something, because I also need to then check the plugin to see if it works or not. Leave me comments and any thoughts about it, and tell me about your experience also. You don't have to use this MCP that I made, but almost you can do everything that I did here yourself. You just, if you don't have that MCP, it's just writing the file itself. It's not asking another AI to write the code for it. And yeah, tell me about your experience. I mean, maybe you find something better, you find something that can improve it. I'm thinking to also create another video that I'm starting with the Claude desktop, and then after preparing tasks, and then I'm moving to Claude Code, and then coding with the Claude Code instead of using this MCP to do everything for us. And I need to work on this MCP. I see it has some errors that it's bugging us. I see this is doing much faster. I mean, creating this one PHP file, it's nothing for this MCP, but because there are some issues still I can see, it's bugging us, it's blocking us here. Yeah, that's it. So until the next video.